Whew! Welcome everybody to What to Play Gaming.
Hello.
To On the Couch.
Yeah, on the couch.
I'm Media Mike.
I'm Sneaky Sam.
And we're doing something a little bit different for this episode 1 of Marvel's Spider-Man. A game that Sam has never played. A game that I picked up way too late, but a fantastic game. And how are we starting off, Sam?
Well, okay, so we're gonna do spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
Yes, we just got back from Avengers Endgame today, and my god, the things we are feeling, we just have to get them out into this video. So we're letting you know right now that this video is 100% spoilers on Avengers Endgame. So if you don't want to be spoiled no matter what time in your entire existence, make sure to not watch this video. I know it's a weird thing to tell our viewers.
This is
not watch our videos.
This is basically a time capsule of thoughts that we're now just gonna basically recap for you.
And we hope you like it. We've never actually done something so fresh.
Yeah, it's
like
very
this.
Well. We did a video that was right before we went to go see Infinity War, but we didn't do a spoiler video after that.
Yeah.
There's gonna be no spoilers at the very top of this video. We're just saying now. We are going to go point by point through the entire movie over the next 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't run too much longer than that. But other than that, Mike has seen it once before.
Yes, I saw it once before, but we'll get into it right now. So we're just going to say right here, right now, if you do not want spoilers, your time to close the video is now.
That's right. So if you do not want spoilers, again, we're going to repeat it. There is just going to be one episode like this. It's going to be in the title that we're saying that there's spoilers. And then we're probably going to continue Spider-Man after this. But before that, this is our video talking about Avengers Endgame spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, now's the time to turn off the video. With that said, let's get right into the game. And let's get right into spoilers for... and discussing Avengers Endgame.
We start off the movie with Tony and Nebula stuck in space.
Before we even get to that, we start at Jeremy Renner's family.
Sorry, yes we do. You're right.
So this is spoilers, so don't watch this again.
I'm
just kidding. So the Jeremy Renner's family is starting at the top of the movie, and they're having a barbecue. And so basically, Jeremy is playing with his daughter. I believe he has three children,
2 sons and a daughter,
two boys and a girl. And so they are starting the movie, and they're just playing catch. And this is happening during concurrently when the snap happens. So he basically turns around and he comes back, and his family is gone, and he has no idea where they went. And this basically sets up what we see later is that he becomes Ronin.
Were you devastated off the bat with that scene?
I thought that was a very emotional scene, and I wasn't...
Did you know it was pre-snap?
No, well, yes, I mean, from the trailer that I saw to where he seemed rather, stern and stuff like that, to that moment when he seemed rather, fine, happy and stuff like that, I figured that there was something to it that this was pre-snap. So the actual reveal of it was really great. The camera pans to him, he picks up a football that he's throwing with his daughter, and then it goes to him seeing that his family is now gone, lost in a dusted breeze. And then so after that is the moment that we get to Iron Man and Nebula.
Yes.
And so,
which is actually it's a nice scene where they're playing finger football.
Yeah, I love that so much. That was great.
And Nebula's deadpan delivery of
that was
I had fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, she had a little bit of fun. Yeah,
but I think we get a good look at her character development in those first few bits.
Yeah,
she has humanity now, which was very nice to see. Even though she's been through so much shit in her life, she does care. She cares about Tony. She sacrifices her own nutrition to give Tony just that little extra bit of hang in there.
And I liked how they showed that. So he was stuck. Him and Nebula. The movie takes place 3.5 weeks after the snack. 22 snap.
Yeah,
after the snack.
21, 22 days.
That's right. And he seems malnutritious, like malnourished and stuff like that.
Which they did very well.
They did cool. They did really well. Yeah, and like I really liked that. And they probably showed that he had some muscle degradation too because he was out in space and whatnot. It wasn't like, and so. Anyway, I thought that was really nice detail that, like, they just sort of put that in. Oh, and
you're already leaving the mission.
Basically, Captain Marvel comes and rescues him right off the bat.
This is the part where I have problems with it. Not so much that Captain Marvel is...
What, you didn't expect her to be able to find, like...
Like, I understand the reason she's needed to go get him, but...
Yeah.
She just comes back, it's like, here's Tony, he's back... Oh, you remember that part where we all introduced ourselves?
No,
I definitely do.
I thought that was necessary because it's basically Anthony and Joe Russo's style to basically not let the story stop for any reason, basically. So within the first 5 minutes, they're back all talking to each other. And Iron Man is pissed with Captain America because this is the first time he's seen him in, like, what is essentially, like, a couple years. Because he hasn't seen him since 2016.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, because they rectified the timeline. In Infinity War, he says that...
Oh, yeah, because they never really see each other in Infinity War.
That's right, they never see each other in Infinity War.
I didn't even think about that.
Iron Man has a fit with Captain America, and I don't say that, like, lightly. He's just like, you weren't there, and, like, this is what I was talking about with Ultron.
Yeah, it was the biggest I told you so ever.
And he was so pissed off at him, and then, so basically he's just like, I'm done, I don't even want to try... I don't even want to do it, and to me it was just like Thanos really trolled them in that first movie. Anyway, so right after that, so basically they talk about how they have to go and stop Thanos, like, and so they have a plan to go and do it. They track him down after he does an energy surge, like similar to the one that he did.
Yeah.
The thing is that
the same signature as the snap.
That's right. So they figure out because of that. Where he is, but what they don't know is that Thanos destroyed all the stones with that.
Yeah.
So that was really devastating to me.
Yeah, the first time I saw that, I'm like, what?
I know. I was like, I actually thought, like, he's using the Reality Stone right now to pull a prank on them. Yeah. Like, that's what I thought was actually happening in the moment.
Because going into it, I knew time travel was going to be a factor. There was no way that it wasn't, they were going to try to undo what had been done. Uh-huh. And then when he's like, I don't have the stones anymore, I destroyed them.
Yeah.
I was like, what do you do now?
I know, that was just crazy to me. I can't believe that. Yeah. Like, and so basically after that point, Thor cleaves him. He cuts his arm off. They get the gauntlet, but there's no stones, so they don't have anything. So we just so Thor cuts off his head in a fit of rage, and then there's a 5-year time jump.
Yeah. Like, and him cutting off his head was like shocking. Because that was, like, the first, like, really, like, don't give a shit, like, cold-blooded murder in any of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It wasn't, like, I'm going to shoot this guy in the head off-screen. It was, like, here, you see it, slash, like...
Yep. In Winter Soldier, you see Captain America incapacitate people. You see Iron Man do some pretty brutal killings in the first Iron Man.
But it's never
as explicit.
The focal point.
That's right, yeah. I mean, from this point, like... Thanos was dead, and it didn't seem like there was anything that could happen.
But then we take the time jump.
Then there was the time jump, and we see that the world governments have collapsed because of lack of infrastructure, lack of people being able to do stuff. I thought that was a really interesting way to interpret it, and I really like how they showed Steve Rogers was helping people deal with the crisis.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but not through his fists or anything like that. He seems to have been, like, he wasn't able to do anything about that. He was only talking to them, like, trying to help them work through their problems. And that was really, I was like, wow, I
think the guy that was talking about his date, isn't he one of the Russo brothers?
Yes, in fact he is. Yes, he's one of the directors.
But yeah, it was a nice touch.
We figure out that Captain Marvel has to leave because there's thousands of other planets in the universe that she can help that are in chaos because of the events of Thanos.
It makes sense, but, like, I felt like the build up to having Captain Marvel enter the MCU was going to make her more important in this movie than she seemed to be.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I'm still kind of conflicted about it. What she did do ended up being substantial to a point.
Yeah, she brought Iron Man back, and they brought Tony Stark back from, and this was cool because it was billions of light years in space that they had traveled.
Yeah.
Like, by Tony's estimate in the first movie. And he was like, I'm pissed at you, Doctor Strange. I can't believe that you made me... in his words, he says, I tried to bench you, but you wouldn't let me. They find out that Scott Lang is alive. And he comes out of the quantum tunnel for some reason.
Which, can we talk about our favorite newest Avenger, Rat?
Who?
The Rat. The Rat that turns on the machine and brings Scott back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rat? Boom, boom, you're an invention.
It's an adventure. Welcome to the team.
I actually didn't catch that the first time. I didn't notice that.
So that was my second time seeing it.
So
now that I see it, I'm like, why wasn't, like, something else a little bit more substantial put in that place? Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Have like, the ant that is, like, just chilling in his house come and save the dude.
Scott comes back, and it's only been a few hours for him. He has a hyperbolic time situation.
He's now Super Saiyan level 2.
Basically, a few hours have passed for him, but in the real world, it's been 5 years. Like, he says 5 hours for him, 5 years. So 1 hour per year. So anyway, he comes back to find out that not his daughter is dead, but they think he's dead.
Yeah. Because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there, yeah. And so he goes back and he finds out that his daughter was alive. That was a really great reveal.
Yeah.
Afterwards, he goes to...
That was where, like,
yeah,
the emotions started really cooking.
Oh, yeah, totally. They really... There are so many emotional moments in this movie.
Captain America shows up just after the new Nick Fury's Avengers meeting that's being held over Skype.
And who was that?
That was Natasha.
And yeah, so she's basically the effective runner, like, head of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And I really, really appreciate, like, the emotional levels she's hitting in that scene alone.
Oh, yeah.
Of just, like, she's upset, she's devastated, but this is the only thing she knows how to do, and this is her family.
Wow. No, that's definitely true.
Like, it was impactful.
She's talking to everyone, and then they split up. And then right after that, Scott comes back, Ant-Man comes back, and then they get the quantum technology.
Yeah.
Basically, they have access to it. And essentially, they give it straight to Tony... They give the idea to Tony Stark that there's a possibility that we can go back in time. Basically, Scott theorizes that because of the time differences that he experiences, that there's a theory that they could go back and they could fix things. So Tony eventually proves this theory right by running some tests in his home.
Yeah.
And he's able to, with Friday's help, essentially determine that the theory is possible and that they can go back in time. So I thought that was a little bit, like, that was pretty fast, but at the same time, like, it was a great moment for Tony to. It was a good moment for him to pick himself up, because right after that he shows up. Was there anything before then? Basically, he shows right up at Avengers' doorstep.
Yeah, they start talking about it.
And he starts talking about it, and he's all like, he was like misshaven before, and then he comes back and he's like all clean shaven and stuff.
The other thing too, like, people don't really give Scott Lang the benefit of the doubt. Like, he actually is smart. He's just maybe not on the same level as, like, Tony and Bruce are.
Yeah.
But he, like, in the first Ant-Man, like, he knows how to, like, you know, mix chemicals and shit to blow up the vault door and just chemical reactions. So he knows, like, some science.
And he's really smart because he kept the Ant-Man suit safe during the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp, even while he was in house arrest. They basically have the idea to go back to different timelines after they prove that it's possible. They go to Professor Hulk.
Good old Professor Hulk. Something you called at the very beginning of the movie.
I called this at the beginning. I literally told Mike, like, Mike, you are not allowed to react to what I'm about to say. And I'm now going to turn my face after I say it, so that I don't view your facial expressions. And so anyway, I called that Professor Hulk was going to happen. Essentially, that Hulk and Banner were going to merge. And I turned away. I'm like, okay, now that's out there. So I did call that anyway. Yeah. So that was pretty funny.
Which, it's not a huge contributing scene to the movie, but it's just kind of great. Just kind of how
great, yeah.
He's Hulk, but he's not really angry anymore. He's just friendly.
Yeah, he's friendly is a really good way of putting it.
He dabs and he tells the kids to listen to their mother.
He's worked out his problems from the first movie, and So anyway, he helps them.
Again, they kind of gloss that one over, but it's a minor gripe.
It's allowed though because they do the 5-year time jump. Not something that we also glossed over was the fact that Tony now has a kid.
Yeah.
Along with Pepper Potts, like they've had a kid.
But they they kind of teased that in Infinity War.
They teased it. Like it was a big reveal. Yeah. And they have to go and get Thor, who's let himself go. He's feeling great guilt over not solving the problem initially.
Why am I not getting out of here?
Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, keep going.
You are crying. You are crawling around.
I'm crying around.
You're crying around. So anyway, long story short, they end up going back in time to different points in time. They go to the point where Peter Quill was going to acquire the Power Stone from the first scene in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Now, when they first talked about time travel, did you even put together that they were going to go back through the movies?
It was unfortunately kind of talked about.
Yeah.
And there's some things that you can't avoid.
But the second it happened, it was yes.
Yeah, it was a nice I knew that it was gonna happen, but I wondered if it was gonna be all grayed out or whatever. They were showing in they also kind of showed that off in the trailers because they showed a whole bunch of clips from the initial movies and stuff.
That's true. I think that was them trying to misdirect, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. They also send friggin' Jeremy Renner and Natasha Romanoff. I can't remember. Friggin', they send Ronan and Black Widow to Vormir to go get the Soul Stone, and then there happens to be a time in history in which, during the Battle of New York, in the first Avengers movie, there's 3 Infinity Stones in New York at the same time.
Which was a great revelation.
Great point to make, and it was a nice way to reintroduce Tilda Swinton back into the MCU by letting her give the Incredible Hulk the Time Stone, because basically it's revealed to her that somehow Doctor Strange decided to give Thanos the Time Stone in exchange for Tony Stark's life. So because of that fact, she's like, okay, well, I have to trust you, and she gives them the Time Stone.
Yeah.
There's also a moment when Loki gets away with the Tesseract in New York, and I was like, that made me freak out.
And the thing with that is, that never gets resolved.
That does not get resolved.
So, what people are speculating is that is what's going to lead to the Loki TV show.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's going to be a TV show.
There's going to be a TV show on Disney Plus, is what they're calling it, I think.
That's crazy. It's something I haven't thought about till now, but yeah.
I didn't think about it the first watching either. I'm like, he never gets corrected.
He definitely just took that shit, and then he leaves. So that actually means that Tony thinks of a workaround, and they use him and Captain America. They had Scott Lang with them, Ant-Man with them, but they actually retrieved the Mind Stone because Captain America fights himself, which was a great scene.
And the funny thing
there was so many funny things, but yeah.
The funny thing was, somebody accidentally spoiled that for me without even seeing the movie.
Really?
He posted a fake spoiler.
Yeah.
He was like, Captain America fights himself? And I'm like,
get out of here.
Yeah, word for word. Wow. with that kind of attitude, and then it happened, and I'm like, I can't even be mad about that.
Yeah, totally. Natasha and Clint, they go to Vormir.
Here, you got his name finally.
They learn that they have to do a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And Natasha sacrifices herself.
Yeah, which thanks for the heads up, Nebula.
Yeah, that was kind of a big point. So they actually.
I don't think she understands that it was a sacrifice thing.
Yeah, that's definitely something that she wasn't thinking about. I don't think. So basically, they have a little fight to kind of decide who gets to sacrifice themselves because they both want to do it. They both have their own reasons.
Yeah.
Natasha ends up doing it on her own, which, much to Clint's dismay, he ends up getting the Soul Stone because of it.
Yeah.
So basically, they're all so
the thing I appreciate about that is. It was that you had to give up something you love, but it didn't have to be romantic or relational love, and I really appreciated that. I thought that was a nice,
it was like your
nice
friend
consideration. It was like,
and they didn't have to kiss. I thought they might have kissed at that moment, but
I think that would have ruined it.
I don't think, but that's the thing is that Clint loves his family, not her.
But she's essentially cool. she's a sister to him essentially. Like,
yeah,
they've been through so much.
And so it was a great it was like a great moment. It was a very heartfelt moment for me when she left. Tony ends up meeting his dad back at a military compound in the 70s.
And again, more feels.
So they go back because there's two things. One, they can acquire more PIM particles because they have a limited amount of them, and they can only do the time jumps so many times. The second thing is that the Tesseract happens to be at the same spot in history. And oh my god.
Oh my god, notifications.
Okay, notifications done. Tony gets to talk to his dad for a little bit, which was a really, really great moment. They kind
of resolved their future quarrels with each other.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice.
Yeah, totally. That was so cool, and it was actually so fun. It was a great scene. What happens after that is that they eventually get all the stones back, but not without Thanos learning of their plan.
Yeah.
Which was I did not expect that at all. Nebula's uses a cybernetic network, and then she was back on the same network because she was alive at the time that they go back to where Peter Quill was going to get the Power Stone, and then basically Thanos learns of everything because of the memory access trick that he was able to do in the first movie. So he learns that and then basically the Nebulas switch, and she goes forward in time in place of the original, which was a great moment. That was so cool. And so because after this they learn that Natasha's dead, they're like, we have to make the most of this. So they have Rocket, Professor Hulk, and Tony build an Infinity Gauntlet from using the nanotechnology that Iron Man has. Professor Hulk ends up using the new Infinity Gauntlet, and there's a cool scene where it grows to his size, and he snaps his fingers just long enough for him to bring back everybody.
Yeah. And I love that it was a nice subtle thing where it's like there was birds back, and outside seemed just a little bit brighter, and his wife was calling him, Clint.
Clint's wife was calling him at the time, which was big proof that everyone had been returned. But at the moment that they did that, Nebula was able to bring Thanos and an entire war fleet through the portal.
Yeah.
Everyone's been brought back to life. There's a new Infinity Gauntlet. It has all 6 stones, and now everyone's fighting over it. And so Thanos destroys the Avengers compound using his giant warship. He uses both of his armies this time. There was a couple of things that we kind of glossed over.
That's okay, keep going.
So Thor and Rocket, they go to a time when they go to Asgard. So remember when I said that they go back in time to get all the Infinity Stones? Well, they go back in time to when Asgard was still around. And then Thor is there, and he's able to talk to his mom, and he's able to get a nice emotional scene with her so that he can collect his thoughts after having failed, because his mother is the smartest, is the most wise woman in the entire universe.
Essentially.
It's true.
Yeah. The second time around for me, I was a little bit disappointed with Thor's arc, not really feeling like it had proper resolution in the end.
Well,
but then rewatching it, I'm like, maybe it didn't have to. Maybe having that scene was enough for now.
I think so.
Let him figure it out in another movie.
Because he's reeling over his loss, and he really wanted to put on the Infinity Gauntlet that they made.
But that's the thing. He wasn't ready.
He wasn't
ready. He wasn't in a state to make it worthwhile, and he may have made a mistake.
He ends up calling Mjolnir, which to him affirms that he's still worthy to wield Mjolnir, which was a great moment for him. It made him smile, and then they go back to the past. They go back to the future. Great movie reference. Yeah. They actually make the reference in the movie.
And they they also make Big Lebowski references.
Really? Yeah. Thor and Iron Man and Captain America all go and they fight Thanos. Mm-hmm. And while Hulk is holding up a building that Thanos dropped on them, and basically Rhodey and them are all saved, they all save themselves, and they save Rocket and things like that.
Which I wanted to talk about War Machine for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Was he wearing that new armor before the building blew up? I didn't understand where that armor came from in the end.
No, he definitely gets, a different set of armor.
What is that thing? I don't,
It was great.
I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, what is it?
It was basically, a small Hulkbuster armor.
Yeah, it looked like a small Hulkbuster armor, but it looked like War Machine and Iron, pure mix.
Thanos is able to wield the Stormbreaker, and he's about to kill Thor, but then right when he's
Mjolnir
about to,
flies in.
Yes,
Yeah.
you want to say it?
So Mjolnir flies in, smacks him in the face, and then flies back out. And who grabs it but Captain America?
And
Sam
died.
lost his shit.
I fucking died so hard. And the thing is that when they showed like this shot, they show an insert of somebody picking it up, and I'm like, oh my god, is this going to be the moment when Hulk picks up the hammer? But then they turn around and it's Captain America, and I was like, and then Thor is like, I knew it, and I'm like, that's the best line that he could have said. But it's not enough on his own. So who else comes back but everyone?
Yeah.
At that moment, because we were confirmed a few moments before Thanos blew up the entire Avengers hideout that everyone had returned.
Who calls Cap?
Who calls Cap?
Yeah.
But
Sam.
yeah.
Yeah, Sam calls Cap.
Sam calls On Your Left.
On your left.
Which is a sick reference to Winter Soldier, which is another movie I had rewatched like for the 14th time in preparation for this movie. So that was a great callback to the first time that the Russos got to direct any of these characters. And it was such a great moment because then you get to see Doctor Strange, Black Panther, you get to see Valkyrie, you get to see Shuri, you get to see like everybody, like you get to see Bucky, like you get to see Wong, you get to see like
some of like the magic users.
Yeah.
Like,
you get to see the magic users. You get to see Pepper, who was not destroyed, but she just has the rescue armor.
She's rescue now.
Yeah,
which was amazing.
So cool, and I totally didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, you stayed spoiler free on that one.
Yeah.
Fucking, I knew that one.
You knew that one going in,
Yeah,
so like I was like when I died when that happened.
Was great.
I thought it was a great moment. It wasn't like it wasn't the be all end all, but yeah.
My one switch would have been I would have had Pepper save Tony from space.
Yeah.
But it's minor.
Ant-Man is running around and he's huge. This is an awesome interpretation of Dr. Octopus, by the way.
Yeah.
I love this guy. One of the best moments that I love is the reference to the first Avengers movie from 2012 when they have Captain America and Thor right beside each other, fighting alongside each other.
Yeah.
And then they have there's like they have. Do you want to say it?
They like switch Stormbreaker and Mjolnir.
Yeah. So
you can have the little one.
So Captain America's wielding Stormbreaker, and then Thor has Mjolnir. And he's like, no. You can have the little one. So he tosses Mjolnir back to him, back to Cap, and then Cap throws Thor the Stormbreaker, and then he's like, yeah, no, you can have the little one. And I love how they have like that. Almost like a brotherly relationship.
Yeah.
Like
there was a lot of good like interwoven moments of like team ups on the field.
Yeah, and there was this huge team up with like Black Widow and all of the girls.
Yeah.
Like all of the they have Prepper, they have like Gamora, they have
my coworker actually said when she watched that scene, she was like she liked it, but in the theater as she watched it and felt it, she's like, if anybody fucking calls it out, I'm going to lose my shit.
I thought that was sick, and there was a lot of female superheroes introduced this year, and we got to see all of them all fight all at once.
Yeah.
And it was a great moment, and you get to see them kill the children of Thanos again, which was awesome.
And you get to see Scarlet Witch go head to head with Thanos.
Oh yeah.
Which is great.
That was such a good fight. I totally forgot about that. Oh my god, and she's like, you took Vision from me, and he's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
You
took everything from me. Yeah, they don't even reference Vision really, but like they reference him a little bit earlier on. But he's like, I don't even know who you are, and it's like, you will, and it's like, oh, such a sick moment.
Yeah, Spidey's back in there, and we have some good good fatherly moments with Tony.
Captain Marvel comes back.
Yeah.
The thing with Spidey and her and Iron Man, they have a big hug, and it was like my heart exploded basically. I thought that was so cute. And so basically there's a moment when at the very end of like the climax of the battle is basically Thanos versus Tony.
Yeah.
And Tony rips all of the Infinity Stones from the gauntlet that they make, and he basically slips them onto his hand, and then his suit does the rest, and he creates a gauntlet for himself in that moment. And then but before then, there's a moment when Thanos has this line that he says that I am inevitable.
Yeah.
And he says this at the beginning of the movie, like just after he destroys the stones. But so he says it. So his past self heard him say that through his memories, and then Iron Man, and then Tony he hears this. Hears him say, he's like, I am inevitable. He tries to snap his fingers. There's no stones there. He does that to himself. He's like, and I am Iron Man. He actually just gets rid of Thanos and his armies with the stones that he creates. And so basically what happens is, do you want to say it? Or
you go for it.
Okay, so Bruce, when he goes for using the stones, he basically cripples his right arm and he becomes like incapacitated in battle. He still fights. He still goes for it. But I was a little upset by this. Not totally, but like, because like obviously the alternative was incredible. But I kind of thought that from like what I saw in the first movie that Bruce was going to end up like pulling a 180 on Thanos and like really wrecking him, but that ends up not happening. He just ends up going for his own snap. He gets plenty of great moments in this movie. I think that this is his best film. This was Mark Ruffalo's best showing.
Yeah.
As it destroyed Hulk's arm, he was the Hulk when that happened, and then he's just Tony Stark, and he's just one man, and he wasn't able to do it, so it kills him.
Exactly. And then the waterworks kicked in.
I absolutely lost my mind at that moment.
Everybody in the theater did.
I didn't scream, but like I definitely just started crying because Iron Man was my first favorite film in a long time.
And actually,
I love that movie so much.
We talk about it in one of our recently released episodes of who our favorite characters are. I think we were playing Batman. We're talking about our favorite Marvel characters, and you're like, yeah, Iron Man. Iron Man's my boy.
Iron Man's my boy. And like I honestly thought that the movie was gonna end with Tony Stark and Pepper Potts having a wedding, but all my expectations were thrown out the window, I'm trying to say, when it was revealed that there's a 5-year time jump. And basically, the movie doesn't end with a wedding, but it ends with a funeral.
Yeah. And not only do we see everybody involved in the fight at the funeral, we also see somebody else. You want to bring that up?
You can.
So the person we see in the far right corner in the back, just before we see Carol Danvers on the stairs, we see the kid from Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Essentially, Tony's first, pseudo-son type relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically helps him recharge the Mark 42 and get him back into the fight, basically, so that he
at the end of Iron Man 3, he gets an entire lab of stuff.
Thor basically leaves. Valkyrie basically becomes the new queen of Asgard.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool. And so Thor has
that's another thing too. I wish they would have explained more, her coming back and the other Asgardians coming back.
Yeah, totally.
Because they don't really touch on that in the movie. So they just kind of gloss over that one. Final scene in the movie: Cap going to return all the stones and Mjolnir.
Can you explain a little bit about why he has to go back?
Because they have to put the stones back in their place, so they no longer create branching timelines.
Yeah.
Because it leaves them vulnerable to just absolute devastation. This is the part that I appreciated a lot more seeing it the second time. Bucky knows full well Cap ain't coming back.
Oh man.
He knows full well.
I love that too.
Because the thing he tells him is the exact same that Steve told him when he was going on a mission. You're bringing all the stupid with you. He knows absolutely what's happening, and he lets it happen because he's like, this is what he has to do.
Wow, I didn't even notice that.
Yep. He blows past his time travel date, and it's kind of a throwaway line, but I think what happens is he continues to live out his life in the past, and then once he lives what he considers a full life is when he travels back to that point of time to sit on the bench. That's what makes the most sense to me.
It's possible. And I think the people that are gonna make the points about this is that there was parallel realities. Like you have a scene where literally Captain America fights himself. So you can show that there was
the other theory.
You can show that there's two different bodies interacting with each other.
Yeah.
The same with the two nebulas.
The other theory is that when he goes back in time, he lives his life out as a normal person, while the regular Captain America would be fighting the good fight. Which makes sense. See him go to Peggy Carter's house, and they finally have that dance.
They have the dance that they waited for since the first Captain America movie
Which was such a sweet note to end on.
So
the people in front of us in the theater were bawling in hysterics. Go back to the one scene where Cap's back on the bench, and he finally passes the shield on to Sam.
Yeah,
and I was like,
oh my god,
yes.
That. Oh my god, that was a huge. Oh my god,
that's a huge like comic books thing of Sam becoming Captain America as
Falcon becomes Captain America.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And it doesn't mean Steve Rogers is necessarily out. It means he is able to possibly come back in the future as, his old self.
You think?
Yeah, because it's happened in the comics.
Captain America can come back as the Chris Evans Captain America that we know?
He could. He could also come back as just kind of a mentor / Nick Fury figure.
I think that's it. I think that's where we're going to wrap up the video. Tune in next time for another Spider-Man video, but there's going to be
Episode 2, we're not going to talk about it no more. If you want to let us know what you felt in the comments below, by all means, go for it. But again, try to make it spoiler-free if you can.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's the internet. We know.
Consider liking and subscribing to our channel if you really enjoyed our breakdown of Spider-Man and of Endgame in this video. And if you really enjoyed it, then, like our channel, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell icon for more videos. And yeah, Mike and I, and everyone here at What's Up Play Gaming, we'll see you guys next time.
Oh god, I can't.
Was that James Bond? Oh god.